Welcome to today's class. We're going to be making a very easy, delicious ranch dressing without any sour cream, any cream at all, any dairy, period. So if you want to check out the recipe, you know where to go. The link is in the description. And if you are tuning in right now, let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from. I want to go over the ingredients real quick because this is going to be very simple, very fast, and we can talk about stuff later of what we can do with this because there's a lot on the top of my head that I would use it for. But if you're watching now, I would love for you to tell me what you would do with it in the comments. So let's go over our ingredients. Let me just change this angle up. So we have coconut kefir is our main ingredient that's the most important for this recipe, right? It's going to give us that umami, creamy buttermilk flavor you would get from like a buttermilk ranch. And this is something I got at Whole Foods. There's tons of things out there on the market. You can even use, if you're looking to incorporate dairy, a dairy version of this, because that would be way better than just using milk or cream or sour cream, whatever you're using as your dairy base. But today, we are only using this. So in addition to that, we have lemon juice, the juice of one lemon. We have avocados. All we need is two ripe avocados, whatever you got. Then we also need some garlic powder. We're using some garlic powder, some mustard powder, some smoked paprika, and some salt. So that's all right here. In addition to that, we have some fresh herbs from the garden. I ran out of parsley, so I rushed to the garden and I remembered that we still had some. So this is some parsley from the garden. It looks fantastic. Looks beautiful. So we have that alongside with, I think the most common ingredient you'll see in most ranches is dill. Dill is here. So this is kind of almost leaning on a green goddess dressing just because it's green. And honestly, I wouldn't be upset if I had this over a ranch or green goddess because it's that good. And then the last ingredient we have here is some scallions, which if you don't have this, I have this because I don't have chives. And I got the most young scallions I could find. And then I have some other herbs here that we can talk about later. So what you want to do to start things off is you want to, we're going to add our kefir into our blender. So let me just move this over so you all can see what's going inside. How does this look? Is that good? All right, let's move that here. Move this here. I am everything here. I don't have a camera person. It's just me. So give me a second. That looks good. So we're going to first start off by adding in our coconut kefir. And the reason why we add our liquid in first is because it helps everything else spin very easily. And then we're going to add in 2 avocados. If anyone's been here before and remembers how we just love avocados in everything because it's a great way to include some fiber. And some fat, some healthy fats, instead of adding in like seed oils and inflammatory oils. There we go. But the way I like to do it is I will cut horizontally through. So you have this really beautiful, nice, soft avocado. And then you have that. So this is always a debate for everyone who's doing this. When you watch a chef, he or she is like cracking it with their knife right into their hand. I like to use avocados a lot too because it's a great time to bring up how to actually work with them. You don't have to use a knife at all. You can use a spoon to scoop it out, or you can just pop it out like this. Now, for what we're doing, it's perfect because we don't have to rely on the avocado to maintain any like shape. So then we'll just scoop it out and add it in. Very simple. And I probably shouldn't have thrown it in so hard because it splashed everywhere. So add those in. just like that. And this is a dressing that we're going to make daily. You can use this for like up to 3 days, but I wouldn't let it sit longer than that. And oh boy, and that's because it's going to start turning brown and just getting kind of funky, but that's what real ingredients do. They're not supposed to live on the shelf forever, like we see in all of the grocery stores. I think we've been taught to think that if it's on a shelf and it's organic, gluten-free, all of these things that check all these boxes, that it's just good for us. But in reality, if we just cooked at home more with ingredients that were like good for you that will go bad, you will be happier. Your body will be much happier all around. And that's what we want. So just clean this up really quick. Some avocado snacks. Okay, now that we have this all inside, we're going to add the rest of our liquid in. I probably should have added that first, not a big deal. So we're gonna cut our lemon in half, use a strainer, add it right in. And the recipe is calling for 1 lemon. You can use as much or as little as you'd like, but remember, when you use acid, it's gonna keep this from oxidizing. So I know we said we're looking for something not to preserve, but this is a great way to keep nice, fresh color, and it's going to be nice and vibrant. Nice and vibrant on the palate. Okay. Next we want to take all of our spices and just dump them in. So our first spice is going to be the garlic powder. I like using garlic powder because it has less sugar, but you can use onion powder too if you like that kind of stuff. That's just me and how I like to handle these spices. I feel like the humidity here always makes it stick to the bowl. So I got to mix it up a little bit. So dump that in. This is an 1/8 teaspoon. So it's not too much, but it's just enough. Next, we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of mustard powder. These are just whole mustard seeds that I ground up real quick because I just didn't have any. I couldn't find them at the store. You should be able to find them at the store though. And this is going to keep our sauce, it's going to have like it's going to give it some spice, which is really nice with like a dressing. So like most dressings, you'll add mustard, not ground mustard, and you'll add in like hot sauce to give it some zing. And then we're also going to add in right now a 1/4 teaspoon of sweet smoked paprika. And I like adding this because it gives it a little depth. It makes it round, it gives it like that smokiness you like to have from almost anything. And it's just enough to where it kind of falls in place and doesn't like overdo it. So we're gonna add that in too. And last but not least, we're adding in our salt. Last but not least for our spices. And this is actually a seasoning, it's not a spice. So this is fine sea salt. This is a 1.5 teaspoons. Add that right in. You can use less if you don't like adding that much into your diet. No big deal. And we're gonna blend it up. So cover your ears right now. I'll give you like 2 seconds. 3, 2. All right, so here we go. This is what we're looking at right now. Let's give it a taste. It tastes exactly like ranch, and I'm not lying. This is exactly what you're going to taste at this point. But we're missing 2 or 3 big ingredients that are coming in now. So blend it up, and the reason why we blend that up is because we don't want to blend everything together. If you do that, it's just going to be a really green puree, and that's fine if that's what you are capable of digesting. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. So if you are looking for that, just throw everything in a blender and you're done. And that's all you have to do. But what we're going to add is our parsley. We're going to use about a quarter bunch of parsley. That's going to be, let's just say, like this is my hand. I'm going to say a lot of bunches come in different sizes. This is a bunch you would get from Whole Foods or an organic store. And if you went to like your regular grocery store, it's going to be like 5 times this size and be about the same price most of the time. So I would say I'm going to use about, just because the flavor of parsley is strong, we're going to use like this much. It's about 3 large sprigs. And we're not going to use the stems. The stems are very fibrous. You can use those in stocks or you can throw it right in your compost. A lot of people love to say, but you could have done something with that. I want to tell you this. If you have a place that can pick up your compost or you can start a compost, you should absolutely do that, because what you're doing is bringing energy back into the earth to give to you next season or whatever you have at the moment. Your plants will be very happy, and it takes a while for it to break down, and that's supposed to happen that way. It's not supposed to be sped up. There's no reason to do that. You're going to start killing a lot of microorganisms that you need to grow with that speed. So I think the way we've been doing it at the farm around the corner, it's about a 90-day process. So 30 days, we'll turn it. 30 days, we'll always check in between. If it's moving faster because of the temperature outside, we might do things earlier. But all in all, you want to make sure that the 90-day cycle is like kind of where you're at, because I think there's a lot of machines out there in the market that are saying, oh, you can not throw away your scraps and just do it on your tabletop, and it's this machine that is made out of plastic and parts. Like, that's great, but I think we all need to be questioning that kind of equipment, because I don't think it's doing us much good from a micro level. And I'm not saying I know, that's just that's what I feel. So we chop this up really nice, and we're going to add it into a bowl. Use a clear bowl so you can see it. So we're going to add all this in the bowl. This is my thing with blenders, right? It's always, they work so well, but it's so hard to get everything out. Uh-oh. But I like to use my hand, because if you tap like something hard on it, it might crack your blender bowl. And we definitely don't want that. This is the one machine that we want to keep around that does a lot for us. If you don't have a blender, you can use a food processor. You could chop it up by hand if you don't have anything at all. And just remember, it's going to be like a chunky sauce. It's going to be more of like a guacamole. All right, we got most of it out. Now, let's add in our parsley, and we're going to grab the sauce that fell down. Okay. That goes in. Now we need to have our dill. We need to add our dill. This is about a bunch from the store. My recipe is calling for about a quarter bunch as well, but it's kind of the same thing. I added like maybe double the parsley, and that looks kind of like this for me. And it just depends on what you have. These are very small, tender stems. And the more tender they are, the easier they are from being bitter, more digestible. And that means I can use the whole stem as well. So I'm not worried about anything being too fibrous. And I'm going to go down through this maybe once or twice. Nothing too crazy, because this is a simple dressing. Simple, easy. I can make it right now. Just throw it together real quick, and I'm sure most of you are watching by seeing how much I'm adding, you could do like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and make your own little blend. So we're gonna add that in. We are going to now mix it all up. I don't use a whisk for this part, I just use the spatula that I have. Just because I honestly don't like getting like all of these things messy all the time. And if I'm not really feeling like I want to do all this work for this dressing, I'll just, like I said, I'll put it in the blender and just let it go. But it's done. Like, this is your salad dressing. You can put it on whatever you want, like literally whatever you want. Whatever you like ranch on, you can put it on your pizza. If you like, if you're that person, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I've done it in the past. It's delicious. You can put it on just a regular salad you're eating. You can. We made a Brussels sprout Cobb salad, so it had a whole bunch of stuff in it. It was turkey. Well, sorry, not turkey. Chicken, hard-boiled eggs, bacon. There was the Brussels sprouts shaved really thin. We can send that recipe to you if you're like interested. Just let us know in the comments. But you can do anything with it. This can be a dip for really fancy crudité, and somebody would be like, oh my gosh, how did you make this green, vibrant this green, vibrant non-dairy ranch? So like a lot of vegans, a lot of vegetarians would be extremely happy, and if you aren't those things, you're gonna love this no matter what. So that's the recipe. It's super simple, super easy. I hope that you guys will come and join me next week. If I'm not doing a live like this, I will be posting a recipe in some capacity. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and let us know in the comments what you've learned here, what you'd like to learn here, and we'll see you next time. So thank you so much. God bless. Thank you so much. Love you all. Bye. Signing off. Somehow. Here we go. Bye.